Hello, everyone. It's Bet99's The Parleh Show. It is August 1st. We are halfway through summer when it comes to at least a month. But
that's such a downer on the start of the show,
It
Rob.
is. Not great that it's going to be cold here soon in Toronto. Rob Conway, Justin Pooney, my co-host, as well as Matthew Barnaby in Ottawa. Matt, how are you feeling over there?
I'm good. Yeah, Debbie Downer, right to start the show. Way to bring it on, buddy. Your birthday's over, so bring everyone else down.
That's right. My birthday is the farthest day away now than it ever is. 364 more days till we get to celebrate Rob again. And your daughter's birthday's on tomorrow, so it's the first. Yes, the second. So my birthday pretty much doesn't even matter at this point anyway. Who cares?
Irrelevant.
Completely irrelevant. But things that do matter is the MLB trade deadline.
Yes.
That is today, hours away at this point. Big news out of the game yesterday between the Jays and the Orioles when Bo Bichette went out. The Jays had already made an addition to the bullpen in Jordan Hicks. They've talked about needing to get a bat. If Bo Bichette, there's no information on him quite yet. If anything breaks during the show, as we're live here on Sports Grid, we'll let you know. But for the most part, it seems that the Jays needed a bat anyway, Justin. So an injury to Bo would be terrible for this team's outlook on the season. But do you expect them to do anything in the next couple hours?
Well, yeah, I do. Even if Bo got hurt or didn't get hurt, they still had some holes they have to fill. And this was probably the worst news possible. You know, he had 2 hits last night, was looking good, and then leaves. And then post-game, John Schneider said they're still gathering information. We haven't got any further information yet, so we don't know. Now, do the Blue Jays now pivot to a guy like Tim Anderson, a guy like Paul DeJong from St. Louis? Those are the shortstop bats that are available and have been getting a whole lot of trade calls talked about them. Hopefully it's not too serious, because if Bo Bichette is gone long term, the Blue Jays kind of go as he goes offensively. He's been their MVP offensively, at least for this season. And to lose him at such a crucial time, they're holding the third and final wild card spot down right now.
Yeah.
And to lose him in the middle of this race would be devastating, absolutely devastating to the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, Barney, I mean, from your experience at the trade deadline in the NHL, if you lose a big guy like that, even if you don't, what's it like in the room right now for these guys that are thinking about, are we getting anyone, who's going, all those things?
Well, I think there's always a little anxiety and a little angst amongst players when you get to the trade deadline on, where are you going to lose your job, first of all, for the guys on the borderline. But the guys that, expect to make a run for it, want to make a run for it, you're always looking to add to your team. It's the worst of circumstances when you have your best player and batting .321 and needing a bat in the lineup. Now you think, okay, now we need 2 bats in the lineup, depending on how he's going to how long he's going to be out for. So hopefully it's not long term. We always fear the worst, but I think they stay the course. They add a bat along the way, like we said, and hopefully he is okay to go. We'll probably know. Well, they'll know further along today than we will. But certainly I don't think it changes the course. I don't think they're in a win now mentality, but certainly they want to hold on to that last wild card, make the playoffs, and see what comes of it. But this is worst case scenario that could have happened day before the trade deadline.
Absolutely, it is. When you think about the names like you mentioned that are available. I've been saying Tim Anderson before this ever happened. I thought he'd be a nice addition to get guys like Espinal and Biggio out of the daily lineup and maybe move Merrifield out to the outfield. But Justin, if you're thinking about, like Barney, you said, they're in win now, but not like they're not going to sell everything off just to win, because they have a bit of a window here. But nonetheless, it's one of those things where if you are Ross Atkins, Justin, does this change it big time for you?
Yeah, well, depending on the status of Bo Bichette's injury, it's a major change, right? If we need an everyday shortstop going forward, then you're going to have to go out there. And the other thing is now teams will know that, hey, the Blue Jays just lost Bo Bichette. They're starting shortstop. We cannot drive the price up on them, and they're going to have to pay a premium price because they're at a position of weakness. We talked about it yesterday about the NFL, and leverage is king. Well, if Bichette is gone long term, the Blue Jays have no leverage in the trade market anymore, and they're going to have to pay a premium price. And you mentioned Tim Anderson. Look, this guy's led the league in batting average a couple of years ago, right? As a 2-time All-Star. Again, struggling this year, but he has the pedigree. He's been in a tough situation with the White Sox, a team that, hasn't won a whole lot, hasn't done a whole lot. They had a couple good years. But I think maybe a change of scenery might be bring a breath of fresh air for Tim Anderson. I think I would go for him if Bichette has gone long-term. But again, we have to wait and see until this injury news drops.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be maybe around noon. Last night, 4-2 was the final. The Jays fall to the Orioles, and that continues to distance Toronto from the top of that division. I know it's hard to imagine them getting back in it, but then again, Tampa Bay has stumbled and have come back to the field, and here's Baltimore in first, and I think the Jays have enough opportunity. I think they play them 6 more times to make a move, but right now I guess the biggest thing to worry about is the health of Bo Bichette and any other players that might be added to the roster coming up. But tonight, Hyun-Jin Ryu is on the mound. We got about a minute here, but we'll talk a bit more about it on the other side. But it looks like, Justin, that they're going to go with a 6-man rotation for a bit.
Yeah, look, they have some healthy arms now. Again, the whole Alek Manoah thing is still, he's pitched okay, decently well compared to what he was at the beginning of the year right now. So they're going to go with a 6-man rotation. Of course, they just added Jordan Hicks. They strengthened their bullpen. They have a lot of healthy arms. So now they're working from a position of strength, and they can fine-tune that 5-man rotation going forward and maybe move one of those guys to the bullpen. I don't know. Do they sit Manoah? Do they put Ryu into the bullpen? Who knows what happens? But look, this right now, the pitching staff is going to have to carry the Toronto Blue Jays going forward, especially if this Bichette injury is long-term. And if they can't add another bat, it's all going to be on the pitching staff if the Blue Jays want to make a serious run into October.
Jays -115, the Orioles +100 at Bet99 right now. And we will take a quick break here, and on the other side, we'll keep talking some MLB. Barney, we were talking about Dan Campbell wanting a live lion on the sidelines in Detroit.
I think that would be an awesome idea, would it not be?
Barney?
Well, is he in a cage? Is he out?
Yeah.
Like, what's? Is it like me and Jack's throwing the ball? Like, I see kids when I throw the ball with my dog 2-3 times a day, and he's usually pretty good, but he takes off a couple times towards kids. I'm like, this might not end well. I could be having a lawsuit. Like, how is this line? I think it's a great idea if you put them on like a big box and up top, and I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about this.
I don't think it's a great idea. Because he's going to be on a chain, obviously. And, what if he gets loose?
Hey, we got the Bulldog in Georgia. Bulldog in Georgia.
It's a little different. That thing sleeps the whole game.
Well, apparently, according to Dan Campbell, he said that the Lions owner had no problem with it, but the league frowns upon having live animals as mascots. But I think it would be...
The Broncos do it. They have a horse. Someone comes out on a horse.
Oh, yeah, they do. But it's not like the official mascot. I think you want to make the official mascot a real-life lion.
Yeah, that's wild stuff. But Dan Campbell's a crazy man.
Yeah, bite some kneecaps.
He is.
And did a great job with Detroit, turning that franchise around last year. See how they're going to do. We'll get into NFL talk in the next block. But let's get back to Major League Baseball, Barney. Biggest name out there right now has got to be Justin Verlander. Some teams that are tied to him still. Jays at one point were in that mix. I don't think that's going to be happening now, but the Astros are interested. The Dodgers, obviously. The one problem with Justin Verlander is he's 41 years old, and if he pitches, I think, 140 innings next year, his 2025 option gets vested as well. And it's like $90 million. Now, Steve Cohen already showed with Scherzer he's willing to take a big chunk of that, but that's a lot of money. He's going to be 43, and he's still going to be on your roster, Barn.
Yeah, no, it's a no for me. Awesome pitcher. He comes with Kate Upton, which is always a plus to bring into your city and your clubhouse. Not clubhouse literally, but it's a no for me. Just the age factor, the contract-wise, not knowing how much he's willing to take. And we know he has lots of money. He doesn't care. They are in a fire sale. I think they're 50 and 55, fourth in the division. So it's going to be a fire sale, but I wouldn't be touching him.
Yeah, I would. If I'm a team like the Baltimore Orioles or if I'm a team like the Houston Astros, he has history with the Astros, go for it. You need an arm. I mean, it's baseball's a win now league, right?
Yeah.
And worry about the money later. And teams that are in the mix, they want to, make a push and go for it, right? You look at, again, back to football. What did the LA Rams do? They basically sold their soul and all their future assets to win a Super Bowl, and they did. right? When you want to, that's the one thing I love about teams that are aggressive in sports is that when you want to win, you go for it and you worry about the future later, right? You want to win and you want to get that ring. So you bring in a guy like Justin Verlander who has had postseason success, who has won a World Series. You do whatever you can to bring that in. If you think you're close enough and he's the missing piece to capture Commissioner's Trophy in Major League Baseball, and worry about the financial ramifications there. Look, we've seen in sports that no contract is immovable, no contract you cannot get out of. So go for it and worry about the financial ramifications later.
It's an interesting, thought. The one thing I find about baseball is in the way that the playoffs are so much different than the regular season because it's 162 games. Like, you don't even need more than 3 starters in the playoffs, really. So if you're the Toronto Blue Jays, you have Kevin Gausman, you have Chris Bassett, you have Jose Barrios, you have Hyun-Jin Ryu coming back. Kikuchi's having a great season. You add Verlander. I mean, there isn't enough games for everyone to play. Now, you can move Kikuchi into the bullpen, and maybe Ryu's going to be in the bullpen, all those things. But I'm all for getting you can never have too much pitching, but I feel like you can have too many starters for the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think the Toronto Blue Jays are in the mix for Justin Verlander.
No, I never just using them because I know all the pitchers off the top of my head.
I think the 2 teams that have been getting the most heat around Verlander have been the Orioles and the Astros. And we talked about it yesterday, right? You said that the Orioles should go for Justin Verlander because who's their starting pitcher right now? Who is that number 1 guy? And they have a plethora of young assets to sell off to get him. So I think a situation like that where you don't have a lead guy or a number 1 guy. I think in Toronto, they know who their number 1 guy is. That's Kevin Gausman. Yeah. He is the number 1 starter for playoff game 1 with a bullet. And then you can adjust them as they may, whether that's Barrios, Bassett, who knows where that goes. But a team like Baltimore that needs a starting pitcher and a guy who has, again, experience, a veteran who can bring that type of playoff type of knowledge to a young clubhouse, that could really help out a young Orioles team that's playing great baseball right now, looking like a team that could be, making a deep run to the World Series maybe.
Burn?
And I was more speaking from the Toronto Blue Jays. Yeah. Anytime you can add a guy like Justin Verlander, but I was speaking mostly for the Toronto Blue Jays. There's more needs that they need than a Justin Verlander right now, and that's the bat that we alluded to earlier.
Yeah, and I think that's true. And they have a bit of a depleted system as well. I mean, you're going to be talking about guys like Elvis Martinez or Ricky Tiedemann. You probably don't want to be moving that for a 41-year-old pitcher. But he is the biggest name left, and obviously we're all getting juiced up about the idea of Shohei Ohtani going somewhere, and the Angels, they decided to go all in, which is great for them and for Ohtani, and if they can find a playoff spot, that would be nice to get to see Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani in the mix there in the playoffs. But a couple guys that have moved, Mark Canha from the Mets, Aaron Savali as well. I mean, I just don't know where we're going here. What do we got? 4 hours to the deadline or something like that?
About 6 o'clock.
6?
So
yeah, about 4 or 5 hours. I can't do math on live television, but I feel like there's something that's going to come down in the next half an hour, Barn.
Something's going to happen. It always does, and it's like the NHL trade deadline. All the deadlines, something happens in the last hours, and we could talk about, and we're going to talk about NFL and contracts and all that. Everything becomes leverage, and this is where who's going to blink first on a lot of different players, a lot of different teams, and this is what it comes down to. This is really where they are paid to do their job at the most, because you're really deciding whether you're going all in, whether you're willing to part with assets, whether you're willing to spend the money on the organizational front. So the next few hours are going to change fans' perspectives, teams' perspectives, and the players' perspectives on how good their team's going to be.
Yeah. Well, we'll wait with bated breath for the news of Bo Bichette.
Exactly. And I think one of the things out there that I was reading is, should teams really be necessary for teams to disclose injuries to the media?
Barney, what are your thoughts? I think so. You're gonna get in. You're gonna. I think it's important to let everyone know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why? Why is it important? Why does the media have to know everything?
I don't think it's the media though. They're just telling the fan bases. They're telling the people that are watching.
Because I think it's a business at the end of the day.
Lower body, upper body, and it's a little different in baseball. But when you have a guy like Bichette, now we know he leaves now, but why don't you want to keep things internal? Like that's the whole thing. We've had meetings when I played, and hey, this guy's actually got a broken arm. Like he's got a you're not coming out and saying that. Your upper body. So no one has an absolute clue. But I don't know why media and fan bases have to know every little thing. If the guy's not in the lineup, there's probably a pretty good reason if he's playing well. If he's playing like crap, you probably know he's probably out because he's playing like crap. So I don't think media needs to know everything. And certainly in hockey, if I knew someone was hurt in a certain area, I'm going after that. Now that's completely different in baseball, but I just think you give leverage to other people knowing that you're drastically need something. If Bo Bichette blew his ACL out yesterday, wow, that price goes up if everyone knows about it today.
Yeah.
I think, again, it's a business, right? We see how much money is invested into these major sports where fans pay a lot of money to go see who plays. Betting sites now are so big, and obviously, injuries will adjust. It's such a business where they have to disclose it. Otherwise, people are not going to want to invest their dollars into betting, coming to the game and stuff like that. Yeah. I think it's because it's a business ploy.
I mean, the
betting side, I totally understand.
Yeah, there is that element.
The guy's going to be. Yeah,
for sure.
The betting element, I totally understand.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got to take a quick break here, but we'll be back with some NFL news. We got some running back issues. That's a shock out there, but we'll be back, Justin, Matt, and myself. All right, welcome back to Bet99's The Parleh Show. Rob Conway, Justin Pooney, and Matthew Barnaby with you. I want to talk about this. We're going to get into NFL in a second, but you told me, Justin, before the show, was it Colorado that's leaving the Pac-12?
Yeah, Colorado's the next school to leave the Pac-12, of course, joining UCLA and USC. The Pac-12 is basically in shambles right now. I don't think you can call it a Power 5 conference anymore because it's lost, its two biggest schools in UCLA and USC, and it lost the biggest personality it would have had with Deion Sanders, of course, coming over and taking over the Colorado program. It all comes down to money again in college athletics, somehow, some way or another. The Big 10, the Big 12 that they're joining, obviously they're going to have. No, sorry, they're joining the Big 10.
Big 10, yeah.
Big 10, yeah. It's got way more money. You got the national rights deal with Fox, where you can have teams like Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, all coming to LA. USC, UCLA are going to be traveling over there. It's going to get big TV ratings. It's going to make a whole lot more money, which allows more money for NIL. And speaking of NIL, I saw a story just right now. Spencer Rattler, the quarterback for South Carolina, just got a brand new $150,000 G-Wagon as a part of his NIL deal. So
nice. That's
sweet,
pretty good. Well, Barney, nothing says Midwestern college football like UCLA and USC. I'm looking forward to, I guess, some Iowa UCLA matchups. It should be fun.
Hey, listen. I'll take the personality. I take those teams in the Big Ten. I absolutely love the Big Ten.
Yeah.
My son was committed to Penn State, and being out there and just watching that whole conference is absolutely awesome. So you give me Deion Sanders prime time in Big Ten, I'm all in.
I like it too. And then isn't the SEC's adding like Texas and Oklahoma?
Yeah, Texas and Oklahoma. Look, the SEC will be it already is the best, conference in college football, but it's going to get way bigger now with Texas and Oklahoma now joining them.
You're going to have teams like at this point, like that are going to be 2 and 3 lost teams that could get into the college football playoffs. Like, how can you not lose a couple games when you have all these teams in the SEC or the Big Ten?
They're expanding the college football playoffs now too, right? Where they're going to have more teams in.
But yeah.
So I think I've never been really big into college football, but with now the move of UCLA and USC, and also Caleb Williams now is probably going to be the first overall pick in next year's draft, being at USC. There's going to be a lot of eyeballs on there, and I think that's going to make college football a lot more appealing to the casual college football fan, right?
Yeah.
So I think that it's a big time for college football.
I'm looking forward to it.
Justin, get used to it. In 4 weeks, all we're going to hear is there's only one team. It's Iowa.
I can't believe I've never seen a guy who supported Iowa.
Okay, well, the reason is because my sister went to Iowa University. Yes, I agree with you 100%. She actually went to UCLA the first year, and then she transferred. It would have been nicer to just stick around in UCLA, and then I could have been a Bruins fan. But no, Iowa, Hawkeyes all the way. That is the only reason, though. I mean, there's no other. How do you come across becoming an Iowa fan randomly when you live in Toronto?
That's true. That's exactly why.
You love corn.
Yeah, that is about it. All right, let's talk about the Professional Football League, and that is the NFL. And Zack Moss breaks his arm, likely out for a bit. Barney, is that good news for Jonathan Taylor, or is Jim Irsay still going to be sticking it to him?
You know what? Again, leverage would certainly play into this one, and it was certainly playing to Jonathan Taylor's. If it was any other owner, I think they might budge, but I don't think it has any impact, any whatsoever,
No.
on what happened. And he did clarify yesterday he did not complain about back pain. He did not get hurt in the offseason. So sources better get it right, is what he said.
Yeah.
So he looks like he's good to go. Is this a time that, you do have the leverage to hold out and really stick it to the team and the owner? Yeah. Now we're just going to wait and see what he does going forward. But certainly it does give him more leverage. But when you got a wingnut like Jim Irsay, who knows what's going to happen?
I've not even thought about this too. Like, what are you supposed to do in fantasy? You got to pick these guys in the first round. You don't even know who's playing.
You're not going to pick Jonathan Taylor in the first round.
Well, but then Ezekiel Elliott as well. Like, there's lots of.
I think Zeke's past the point of being a first round pick in fantasy football. I think he's now a guy that you kind of take a late flyer on, or maybe a waiver wire pickup. But when you look at a guy like Jonathan Taylor, who in a lot of leagues the last couple of years has been, the first pick or, been a top 4 pick in fantasy. With what's going on, you just can't take him in round 1 unless something is resolved. Then maybe you take a second round pick on him. Then, okay, it's a bit more stomachable. I do think Jonathan Taylor will play. But like Barney said, I don't think that Jim Irsay really cares.
No.
Right? And you look at it, their number 1 priority in Indianapolis is going to be developing Anthony Richardson, not running the ball with Jonathan Taylor. So you know what? Even though I said yesterday that, they want to have Jonathan Taylor there to help insulate and, take care of Anthony Richardson, at the end of the day, he's their number 1 priority. He's the future of the Indianapolis Colts, Anthony Richardson. So it's more important about his development, and they're not looking to win now this year. So whether Jonathan Taylor is there or not, expectations weren't going to be to make the playoffs, I think, in Indianapolis. It was more so see what you get with Anthony Richardson, develop him, and, go from there.
Yeah.
The hardest thing in this whole thing, guys, is exactly that. It's not expectations to be like the Jets or the Bills or Kansas City or Baltimore, any top tier team. If Christian McCaffrey was holding out, listen, there'd be a deal on the table because the expectation is San Fran has a great D and they have a great team. So when expectations aren't even to make the playoffs, well, you lose a little bit of that leverage, and that's the hardest part for a Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, and of course, too, if he wants to be traded, like he wants to be traded, then you got to find a team that needs a guy and also that would want to pay him, or they know they're going to be in the same situation, right?
Exactly. I think, look, does a team like Miami still make a deal for Jonathan Taylor? Does a team now like Seattle, who has their 2 top running backs out for the foreseeable future, they make a run at Jonathan Taylor? I don't know. It's training camp has started, and to have a big move like that and drop a bell cow running back into training camp in middle of training camp right now and get him caught up to speed, it's going to be kind of tough. I still think.
Does Miami even have the assets with what they gave up for Tyreek Hill?
That's true too. What can they give up, right?
That's why Dalvin Cook becomes so attractive. You're giving up nothing. You'd rather pay more money. They don't have the assets to go get a Jonathan Taylor. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's a good point, and I don't know what the end is going to be for Jonathan Taylor, but like you guys have said on the show when we were talking about a couple of days ago, he has to play. That's the only way that he's going to ever get it. Like you said, Brian, they're going to tag him, but I mean, hey, it's another $10 million, and he hasn't made only $3 or $4 million to this point in his career, so he's got to play, Barney.
I would think so. I would think so. Like, you got to play. If you don't play, you're in the same situation as next year.
Yeah.
And again, when an owner like Irsay really digs his heels in the ground, it's not a battle I want to get up against. Listen, I want him to get paid. He's an unbelievable running back. He's their most valuable player. But he's in a no-win situation, in my opinion. Here, they don't have to make the playoffs. They don't have to pay him. And if he holds out, he's in the same situation next year. Play out your $5 million deal. Get tagged next year, and you've just made $15 million in 2 years.
What's their win total, you think, if he doesn't play?
Look, I thought even with Anthony Richardson playing, if they got 7 wins, 6.5.
7, I think that's high.
Right, 6.5 wins. I think. Well, they play in a horrible division,
that's
right?
True.
Minus the Jaguars, the Texans are rebuilding. Who knows what they're going to be doing in Tennessee? Yes, they got DeAndre Hopkins, who took the money, but you still got Ryan Tannehill throwing the ball. So they play in the worst division of football.
He doesn't play. It's 3-14. He doesn't play. It's 3-14.
3-14. Well, I'm gonna might go. Yeah, I think
without him.
Without him. Okay. Anywhere between. If he does play, there's still a 6 to 8 win team in that range. I think right there.
Just looking it up. Regular season wins on Bet99 over 6.5 is minus 122. Under is plus 100. That's some good value for under.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
I'll take the under.
I'll take the under on that too. I mean, it'll be interesting. Your Seattle Seahawks,
Yes.
you mentioned it there, are having a little issue at running back themselves.
Yeah, look, I think with the Seahawks, Pete Carroll said that Ken Walker will be out for a little while. Zach Charbonnet, again, running back from UCLA, who was expected to, compete with Ken Walker for, the starting running back position, is going to be out indefinitely with a shoulder injury. But it's the Seattle Seahawks. They have shown proof to find guys in late rounds to be successful running backs. Chris Carson, Alex Collins they had before, Thomas Rawls if you want to go back when Marshawn Lynch got hurt. This team wants to run the ball. Pete Carroll's still going to run the ball. They have two outstanding tackles that are going to be going into their second year. And they drafted Jackson Smith and Jigba in the first round. You pair him with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Geno Smith, what everybody wants to say, he broke a whole lot of Russell Wilson's passing records last year. So, look, the Seahawks will be fine. We will be fine. I think, watch out for the Seahawks winning the NFC West because
that's
with
a
Brock
tough
Purdy
division,
throwing the
though.
ball, I don't know.
Barney, 8.5 wins for Seattle. That's a tough division. We got 2 minutes.
Yeah, it is. It is. And can Geno back up what he did last year? Listen, I love Pete Carroll. I love the way he coaches, and I love the way that players play for him. So I just want to see them do what they did last year. I thought it was a great story. A tough place to play. One of the toughest in the NFL to go in and get wins. So I'm on the Seahawks bandwagon. I love Geno Smith. I wish he would have done this when he was a New York Jet, but I love to see good guys do well, and he got rewarded with a pretty awesome contract this offseason. So good on Geno. Again, I wish he was doing it for another green team, not the little neon yellow team that he's doing it for.
Your Jets are 9.5. That's their over/under. I like that.
Over.
Yeah, I could see over. Stuff.
We could see over.
The schedule, right?
You guys have them 0-6.
Yeah, the 10-game win streak.
Look, I think they go 9-8, 10-7 would be in that area, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just looking at all the different numbers here. It's interesting to see. Like, even the Titans were like 7.5.
Okay, here's what I will do.
We got 1 minute, real quick. Go ahead.
Here's what I will do.
All right.
I will take. You guys can everyone at the studio right now, in the back room, everyone. If they go under, I take everyone out to dinner in Toronto.
30 seconds.
If they go over, you all share and take me out to dinner.
Deal.
Done.
We love it. That's happening 100%.
All right. We're going over.
Sean's in my ear, wants to be on your side. He
It
can't
doesn't
be
work
on
like
it.
that.
Doesn't work like that. That
Sean.
wasn't
Doesn't
part
work
of the
like
deal.
that.
Sean's on my side.
All right, we'll be back. We're going to play a little Would You Rather on the other side. Justin, Matt, and Rob will be here after this. All right, welcome back to Bet99's The Parleh Show. Rob Conway, Justin Pooney in Toronto, Matthew Barnaby in Ottawa. It is MLB trade deadline day. We were hoping for some massive news to break while the show's on, but
Crickets.
We're running out of time here. We got 20 minutes, and no one has been traded as of yet. But if anything drops, we'll let you know. But right now, we got a couple things to do. We're going to play a little Would You Rather, and then when we wrap the show, as we always do, we're going to do the Parlay, which went 3 for 4 last night, and I won't tell you who got the wrong pick. But if you can see him on the screen, you know who it is. It's okay, Barney. No problem. But we'll bounce back today.
Saving my win for the dinner in Toronto, buddy.
That's right. I love it. All right, so let's play a little Would You Rather. I like this one off the top. Trade deadline day. Granted, he's not being moved. But, Barney, I'll start with you. Would you rather have Shohei Ohtani at $600 million for, I guess, the next 10 years, or 3 $200 million players for that same time frame?
Give me Shohei Ohtani. I will take the best hitter in baseball. Unbelievable pitcher, one of the best in the game. So give me him. Give me his likes. Give me 10 years to sell his jersey. That's the player I want. So there's a case that can be made for 3 $200 million players, but I'll take the best player that has ever played the game.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, they say quality over quantity, but in this case, if I'm getting 3 guys that make $200 million, there's definitely some quality there. So I'm going to go with three guys making $200 million. Look, from what I've been told, I know baseball, one guy can't carry a team. You see that with the Angels right now, where Ohtani hasn't carried this team to anything since he's been there. So I'm gonna take the 3 guys that make $200 million. Maybe you get 2 starting pitchers in there, maybe two solid bats and a starting pitcher. So I'm gonna go that route rather than having this one massive contract with Shohei Ohtani.
I'm going to go with Shohei Ohtani. Part of the reason is because he is 2 $300 million players, right? Well, he's a pitcher and a hitter. So like
I don't know if he's a $300 million pitcher.
Okay, well, I'm just saying that like you are getting 2 guys, right? It's you're getting 1 roster spot and you're getting 2 guys for that performance. Plus, I'm with Barney on the sales, the TV rights in Japan, all that stuff. It's gonna pay a lot of his bills right off the bat.
But will he win though?
Will you win? Oh, probably not. But you can't make decisions based on winning. That's
winning.
Winning. That's not necessary. So I'm going with Shohei Ohtani. But you're right. 3 $200 million players. It's tough to turn that down. That's 75% of your infield, or like you say, if it's 60% of your pitching or starting pitching, there is an argument to be made on both sides. But I think who Shohei Ohtani is and what he represents in the game is perhaps enough for me. Okay, would you rather have Dalvin Cook, Leonard Fournette, who by the way I met on a cruise when it was when I was in Miami, Ezekiel Elliott or Kareem Hunt? I'll start with you, Justin.
So is it just any team? Like if I have a team right now, and
you got a team, and you're like, oh, we need to get a running back. Where's the list?
Generally, if it's my team, we already have our number 1 running back. So I need a third down back, a guy who can catch the ball out of the backfield and pick up some much needed yards. And I'm gonna go with Kareem Hunt. He has he's been the second back in Cleveland for a couple years behind Nick Chubb, and was pretty successful at it. They had one of the best running back tandems while he was in Cleveland. He can catch the ball. He's got some speed. He's got some burst. He doesn't have a whole lot of miles like these other guys have on him. So I'm going to go with Kareem Hunt as my back.
Okay. Barney?
Yeah, being a Jets fan and having Dalvin Cook there, it was really tough between Chubb and Dalvin Cook for me. Chubb's numbers in the last couple of years a little bit better.
Hunt, not Chubb, Hunt.
Oh, I think he said Chubb. I apologize, Chubb. Yeah. Oh, then it's Dalvin Cook. Give me Dalvin Cook all day long. He's not Breece Hall. He's completely different the way that they run. So for me, give me Dalvin Cook and let's get him signed.
You're just trying
to go to the Miami.
You're just trying to wish that into existence right now is what you're trying to do.
Of course I am. Of course I am. Well, why wouldn't I? Even if we don't get him, what I love about the Jets right now is we don't need him. We just want him. And we have the money to do it. He will be a Jet.
I will go with Leonard Fournette. We're friends.
Is this what he said? The same thing?
No.
No. Does he know who you are?
No.
Okay.
No. Leonard Fournette was great because it was
You're not taking Leonard Fournette.
Okay, no, but I'm just going to tell a story of how I met him. So he was on the boat because part of the boat was this Tampa Bay Fan Expo thing. It wasn't the whole boat. Just I wasn't there for the Bucks, but it was like a small portion of it. So they had some players, and he had just been cut from the team, and he still came to the cruise. It was awesome. It was
I probably got free cruise, free food.
Yeah, his family was there too. He's probably like, we're still coming, even though I think he got asked to get cut too. But anyways, Leonard Fournette, probably not going to take him. But we're friends. Yeah, I gotta deal with my friend. That's the way it works. Okay, I love this question because none of us are going to answer it for the reason why it's being asked. But would you rather get traded to the Arizona Diamondbacks, the Miami Marlins, or the Milwaukee Brewers, Barney?
Oh, without a doubt, the Diamondbacks.
Yeah,
Arizona.
Exactly.
It's not even a question. It's my favorite place in North America. You get me to Arizona, get me to Whisper Rock, and then someone give me the $125,000 to join Whisper Rock.
Yes, Justin.
Miami.
It's also a great answer too.
Miami.
Yeah,
I get it. You want to, I think all 3 of these teams are tied for the final wild card spot in the National League. Who the hell wants to play in Milwaukee, Wisconsin? Respects to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm sure it's a great city, but nobody wants to.
Backhanded compliment.
Yeah,
the old backhanded compliment.
Nobody wants to live there. Nobody wants to live there. That's why Aaron Rodgers is so happy now in New York because he doesn't have to be in Wisconsin anymore. Look, love Arizona. Been there before. I like the bigger city. I need to be in Miami.
Arizona's awesome. Scottsdale, yeah. And if I'm on one of these teams, Barney, if you're on one of these teams, I think you can afford the $125,000 to Whisper Rock.
Yeah. No, 100%. I know where I'm living.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best place. There's no better place in the United States. I can tell you that.
I agree, but it was not the reason why the question was asked. It was probably what team you like, what you think has the best chance. Nope, we don't care.
No, we don't care.
We don't care.
No.
We do not care. And that's the way she goes. I'm with you, Barney. I'm going to Arizona. I love Scottsdale. It's the best. Miami would be okay too, but it's a little bit too fast paced for me now. I turned 37 yesterday. I don't think I can keep up in Miami.
You're what, 37?
Yeah, I don't think I can keep up in Miami. I need Arizona.
I just turned 50. I'm not going to Miami.
No, see, I'm only 27, so that makes
That's
makes
right.
sense.
So you can join us in 10 years in Scottsdale when you're ready to shut it down.
For sure.
All right. Would you rather? It is the trade deadline. We're waiting to hear some news with the Jays. Would you rather get Teoscar Hernandez returning, Tommy Pham, or Justin Verlander? Justin, I'll start with
Bring back Teoscar. You know, he was a great guy in the clubhouse. Vlad loved him. Bo loved him. He hit some very big home runs for the Toronto Blue Jays. He knows the ballpark. Well, again, maybe not totally because it's a newer ballpark now, but he has experience here. And, you know, they miss him. You know, you see the presence that's been lost with him in the clubhouse and in the lineup. He's a right-handed bat was what the Jays need. He has 16 home runs this year. Bring back Teoscar Hernandez.
Barn?
Ditto. Go with the devil you know, and his numbers were a lot better here than they are there. So bring him back. You know him. You know the personality. You know everything about him. And he's well-liked. I think that's big, his chemistry in a locker room, especially at a deadline.
I'm with you guys. I'm with Teoscar Hernandez, although I think Justin Verlander has no-hit the Jays twice, I believe, if I remember correctly. He definitely did it once when he was with Detroit. Yeah. But so maybe he's got some good vibes there. But no, I'm going with Teoscar Hernandez. Big bat, that's what they need. And like you said, I think there's a relationship obviously there with Vladdy. Get everybody excited again. Get the home run jacket going again, all that stuff. Okay, a couple more to go. Would you rather, Barney, have Davis Mills or C.J. Stroud start for the Texans?
This was a really, really good one because it's going to be a rough year for the Texans. And a lot of times you want to insulate your quarterback. But I'm also for getting experience early. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I want to get the experience for C.J. Stroud. The kid has a lot of upside. We saw Trevor Lawrence in his rookie year, Peyton Manning in his rookie year. They struggled mightily and then absolutely turned it on in years 2 and beyond for Peyton Manning, but we saw Trevor Lawrence. So C.J. Stroud is my starting quarterback. Let him go through the growing pains early, and hopefully he's ready for year 2 and 3.
Absolutely. Let CJ cook. Let CJ Stroud play. I want to see if he can sink or swim in the NFL. He played at Ohio State, had a track team of wide receivers, NFL quality wide receivers across the board. That's not going to be the case with the Houston Texans. There's gonna be a lot of growing pains. I want to see, can he be a guy that can lift the talent up around him, or is he going to need a whole lot of talent around him to, be successful, like a Dak Prescott or a Kirk Cousins? Is he going to be a guy that, like not Patrick Mahomes or a Josh Allen, where he can make the talent on him better, or does he need more talent around him to make himself better? So that's what I want to see. There's no point in running it back with Davis Mills. Yeah, absolutely no
that's the
purpose.
Hardest thing. That's the hardest thing about drafting a quarterback from Ohio State.
Yeah,
you have 9 wide receivers that are NFL first rounders, and they play against inferior competition most of the time. And they just torch them. That's the hardest thing about drafting a quarterback from Ohio State.
Yeah, we're seeing it with Justin Fields right now. Like, they had to go out and get DJ Moore because they want to see what they have with Justin Fields, give him a fair shot. And that's why this year is huge for Justin Fields. If he doesn't have a good year throwing the ball, that's another Ohio State quarterback that hasn't panned out at all. So CJ Stroud's got the same type of thing. He needs to show that he can play at the NFL level and just throw him in there. Because, look, you're not going to win anyway, so might as well see what you got. Right?
Yeah, I'm with you, especially when you have a team that's rebuilding. You bring the young guy in. Let's figure it out. Let's give him a shot. It's Davis Mills. It's not like he's backing up Peyton Manning. You know what I mean? Like, no offense to Davis Mills. He can go play somewhere else and probably be a very effective a quarterback for a good team. But no, I'm going with C.J. Stroud. All right, this is the last question here. You don't have to use the Leafs and Raptors as an example because I'm not talking to 2 Leaf fans or Raptors fans, so it's not really a fair question. But let's say for Barney, for you, would you rather the Jets win 1 Super Bowl and never again, or your other team you cheer for, like the Blue Jays, win 3 straight World Series?
Well, now that we're changing the question on the fly, that's an audible. I don't ever see you playing quarterback.
What do you mean?
I'll take the Jets winning. I'll take the Jets.
But never
winning
again. They never win again. You don't care. They never win anyway.
They don't. I've had 30. I've been a fan for 37 years, bud.
Yeah.
I'll take the Super Bowl. It's the only time I'm going to pay that kind of money to go watch them. I will take a win. I'm going to the Super Bowl. They win. If it's the Leafs or the Raptors on a three-peat, give me the Raptors three-peat over the Leafs.
Justin?
We're talking to a guy that never wants to see the Leafs win a Stanley Cup in my lifetime. Oh, you know what? I'd rather the Canucks need to win a Stanley Cup first.
Yeah.
And then the Leafs can win a Stanley Cup.
Okay.
That's the only way I'll let it work. To me, go Raptors three-peat. Three-peat.
I'm going Raptors three-peat because under the context of the question, then it's Leafs one and done. Like they could still win a cup, you're just not assured one.
Yeah, you don't know when it's gonna happen. You don't know if it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But the chance is still there. Whereas you take the one and you never get it again.
No,
if the Leafs win a Stanley
And they're top
Cup,
4 favorites every year.
Yeah,
it's true.
exactly.
I mean, but if the Leafs win a Stanley Cup, this country will shut down.
Well,
No, Justin.
Yeah, absolutely. The amount of
Toronto will shut down.
I don't know. You're talking to a guy who hates the Leafs, right? There's so many Leaf fans all across the country. It will be so disgusting. It'll be the worst summer ever because
There's
the Leafs
a lot of
propaganda.
haters, too. There's a lot of haters.
It's true, and I'm one of them. I agree.
I don't. Well, I mean, being the only Toronto fan, if you will, I still think Raptors three-peat is cool. But after one, I mean, who cares, right? What's the second and a third one anyway? It's not that
I
exciting.
mean, it's a three-peat. It never doesn't happen very often.
How is that gonna work though? What are they gonna what would they have to get like LeBron? I don't know, like Durant.
I don't know. You need a whole lot of praying.
Well, I mean, it's a tough
same thing the
question.
Leafs are gonna have to do.
What the Leafs already are the favorites to win the East next
As of
next
every
year.
year, but what are they going to win? We don't.
No, probably not. That's just the way it works. That's why you don't have to worry about building a team around winning because they're probably not going to win anyway. That's why give me Shohei Ohtani and $600 million contract. All right, that's it for Would You Rather. We are going to come back to wrap the show, and we will be wrapping it with the Parleh as we are trying to get back in the win column after a big one on Friday at plus 2,500. All right, welcome back. Time to wrap the show here with the Parleh. Rob Conway, Justin Pooney, and Matthew Barnaby will be making the picks for today. Yesterday, not bad, 3 for 4. Didn't cash the actual parlay, but that's okay. If you bet all singles, you would have done quite well, which is the way to really go about it for sure. Parlays are tough, which is why they're fun. But let's get to the picks. Barney, what do you got?
First of all, I got the Jays. I'm going back to them because this is on my module on how I bet. And when I lose, I usually double up and keep going. You need a little bit of a bankroll for that. But minus 115 in Rio we trust. And I have a question before we get to the rest of the parlay.
Okay.
Was it over 8.5 for Rob Conway on the golf course yesterday?
On the golf course? Under. Not for the whole day, though, but on the golf course was under. Yeah.
I got a FaceTime there at Justin, by the way, at about 10:30 at night while I was in bed. It was definitely over.
Yeah, I can imagine. He was starting early yesterday, as you should at your birthday, right?
Birthday.
As you should.
Gotta do what you gotta do, Justin.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Texas Rangers minus 1.5 on the run line. That's at minus 105. Look, the White Sox are hot trash. They're selling everybody this year. The Rangers are not. They're buying everybody, it seems like. Of course, they just acquired Max Scherzer. So give me the Texas Rangers to win and win big tonight.
On the run line, minus 1.5, minus 105. I'm going with the Phillies once again. Sandy Alcantara has been not great this year for the Marlins. They both need this win, but at plus 110, I like the value there. And, I just saw what this is. You want to know what the total odds are for this?
What?
Plus 666.
Ooh.
Oh,
no.
The devil that you know.
Yeah. All right, I'm feeling good about it now. I mean, it's a sign. I think.
It's a sign from
I think we're looking good. All right, so that is the White Sox the Rangers minus 1.5, the Phillies plus 110, and the Blue Jays for Barney at minus 115. All right, Justin and Matt, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be both back. All of you will be back with me on Thursday. And Justin, I will see you tomorrow. Should be a lot of fun.
Yes, you will.
Hopefully, we'll be cashing our plus 666 parlay. But for now, I'm Rob Conway in Toronto. This has been Bet 99's The Parlay Show, and we will see you tomorrow.